Hello everyone, Intuitive Edge here. So today I want to talk about what's coming with the coming economic change. Now we're going to be discussing what changes are going to be coming probably beginning this year, 2019, in the new year. But there is a shift coming. Many people have talked about it. I've talked about it a little bit in my readings. So I'm just going to jump right in with this. We're going to look at what changes we can expect. And we'll just go from there and see what the cards tell us. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to shuffle up the cards. So what do we need to know about the coming changes in the economy? I have seven questions written out that I kind of want to go over. So we'll see what the cards tell us. Give me just a moment while I shuffle up. All right, cut the deck. So what do we need to know about the coming economic change? Now we've got the Wheel card. Now in tarot, the Wheel of Fortune is things that are set in motion, karma, fate, destiny, things that are on a course that's going to happen. And when it's reversed, it could signify there's some resistance to this coming change or this shift. Possibly this change could be maybe a causing stress or anxiety or challenge. So what change can we expect? Kind of what is it going to look like? So there could be several interpretations to this. We have the Four of Earth. Number one is that this is a card about hoarding, being territorial over what is yours. So with this card reversed, we can have greed, materialism, fearful of trusting, being defensive or self-protective, even a fear of poverty. Now, we know that the current system that we have is built on greed. It's built on debt. It's a system of debt. Let's keep going. Let's see, my next question, will we end up on a gold standard? This is a card of balance and bringing things back into balance. It's also about choices. Do we do this? Do we do that? But to me, I see this as a very balancing effect. So especially next to this kind of greedy four, we have this bringing things into balance energy. I think it's going to balance things out more than it's been. How will this change affect the U.S. economy? Now, this is interesting because we have a card of getting the upper hand, being in a struggle, but getting the upper hand. I think that eventually our economy we will be able to get the upper hand on it. Now, some of you are aware, most of you probably, that the Federal Reserve is a private system that was taken over by, basically they took over the economy, and they're a bunch of wealthy bankers, and they've been loaning their notes at interest. And the system, or the monetary system that we have currently is entirely based on debt. And these systems, as the way that they're designed, are fueled, they're designed to collapse after a certain time. And when that certain time reaches the collapse point, the bankers either start wars or they cause some type of event to plug a whole bunch more money back into the economy to keep it, to reset it and keep it going. So it's a really nasty system. It's based on debt. It's based to benefit the wealthiest people, and usually those are people that we don't know their names. They're just behind the scenes. We never know who they are, but these systems are basically to benefit them. It's not to benefit the people who live and work in the economy and they pay taxes, and that this type of system doesn't benefit the little people. Okay. And I see with this card, the Seven of Fire, like gaining the upper hand. Now this is still a card of struggle, but I see this as like getting the upper hand. So I think this change, once this this change that we're seeing happen with the economy switching possibly into a new form, into a new way of being, it is that it's going to it's going to be a positive change, but it might take a little bit of time to show that and get the upper hand, to show that the upper hand actually does help the economy. Let's see. Let's keep going. So what will be positive about this change? So one of the positives that I see with this, with the Hanged Man, this is like when you have to give up something to gain something better, is that this is also that when it's reversed, it can be like your efforts are, like you have to put a lot more work in to see the result, kind of like wasting efforts. And I see with this being taken out and this cat being like in suspension, it's like it feels like this, like giving up this system to be like freed up from that, that rat race, that cycle, those efforts that go back into propping the system up over and over again, and using wars and those types of events to keep propping it up. It's like it's like being freed from that cycle that keeps repeating. So we'll be giving up short term to get out from that in the long term. So what will be the negative, kind of the drawback? Now we have the Sky Queen. So with this, you've got the Sky Queen. She's like intellect over emotions. She can kind of get to what's really going on behind the scenes, but she sometimes can use some mental manipulation with regard to that. And I think that for some, this shift or this change may seem a little illogical. And the image of this cat up in the tree, and kind of the weather, kind of like the leaves are gone off the tree, and there's like kind of a little storm. And I think this cat is like, this tree has been secure, and it's like, how do I climb back down out of this tree? So it almost feels like how this is kind of all we've known. How is this going to, how do you make that leap into something, into a completely new system and have it work? I think there might be some logical pushback, like how is this going to work? How trying to figure it out without actually seeing how it's going to be beneficial. Sometimes, you won't know what's behind the door until you open it. I think that's kind of where we're at with this. You kind of have to have a little faith that things are going to work out and then proceed. So I think that's going to be one of the negatives is for especially the logical types is how is this going to work? And they're going to want to figure it out and see how it's going to work. And that may not be completely easy to do for one thing, is to see the end result. You might just have to live it on faith for a few. Now, a question I have is how will this economic, because the system, as I mentioned earlier, it's designed to fail. After a certain time, you either fail or you go to war to prop it up. And means that Donald Trump doesn't looks like he is not going the war route. He canceled basically the war with North Korea, canceled the looming war with Russia that we saw on the horizon. At least I did. I think others did too. Knew that before the 2016 election that we were heading for war with Russia. So Russia, North Korea, those wars are off the table now, it seems like. And now he's moving troops out of Syria. I do not see President Trump as a warmonger, going in nation building and doing all that stuff that, again, will prop up the system. He is not propping it up. He is cutting ties. We're bringing troops back home. So will this economic crash, because it will probably have to happen in such a way that that the real culprits need to be blamed or can be blamed for it, but will this looming shift or change out of the wealthy bankers getting wealthy to a new system, will that be tied to the Fed, the Federal Reserve, in the court of public opinion? Will people be able to understand what's really going on and see and understand that this system is based on debt and it cannot survive without being propped up? Now, yeah, I love this card. Okay. I love the imagery of this card because you have this cat rubbing noses with a porcupine. It's like, okay, what do I have in common here? It's like strange bedfellows. Do we make friends with this over here? I think that initially, with the Earth Kitten messenger card, probably a little difficulty at the beginning, helping people to understand, letting them see the other side, that they've been, I wonder if this is like they've been, maybe this is like seeing, I'm getting a couple different images, like this kitten here is like seeing this porcupine. It's like the veil is off, or being able to see who this is for what it is, and that it's probably, you got to be careful with it. It does seem, though, that there's with the cat seeing and the porcupine like seeing each other, meeting, it's like, it does feel like there's a seeing of each side. I do think that there may be some ability for people in the general public to come to an understanding of what they're actually seeing, that the system itself was designed to come down, and that past presidents have used wars and events to keep propping it up. And I think that's going to be seen. I think people are going to finally get that this is something that needs to come apart, because it's not benefiting the American people or the world, that these bankers enrich themselves. It doesn't help or enrich the economies. And I do see like this meeting, I think it might take a little work with the reversal, but it does seem like there's two sides that need to kind of see, like you kind of have to see the other side and see what's been really going on to understand what's happening now. So, okay. I do think that it's we'll just hang in there. I think there's going to be some big changes coming up this year. Have a little extra cash on hand. There's different ways to just keep an open mind that, things may shift or not change. There's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen. So I do have some good YouTube channels that I follow that I think are on the money. One is the X22 report. I think he does a good job kind of explaining. He does a really good job explaining the Fed and how it's been used to manipulate the economy, and that these systems really are designed to come down at some point. So we just have to know that we'll get through this, and know that good people have plans in place to kind of help us parachute to safety through this whole thing. So, but I do think in the next couple of years we'll see some real big changes in the economy. But the key, I think, is to make sure that people understand that this is not that anything that, if it comes apart, if the wheels come off, it was designed that way, and it's not the current president's fault. He was handed this, and he's not playing along like the others had to. So that's all I have for this reading. Hope you liked it. If you do, leave a like. We'll catch you next time on Intuitive Edge. Signing out. Bye-bye.